Well, good morning. My name is James Graves. I'm the Chief of Police here at Bella Vista. And what I'd like to do today is walk you through the station today and show you sort of the facility that we operate out of. We have 34 commissioned police officers and a staff of 50 individuals in total that work out of this building that I'm going to show you today. The building, just so you know, was originally designed as just an office building. Not a police department. It's 7,000 square feet between the two floors, and as my department currently sits at 50 personnel, we currently need a station of probably about 14 or 15,000 square feet. So I'm going to walk you through and show you the design we have and what we're dealing with here to hopefully give the audience a better idea and representation of what we're going to need moving into the future as far as a modern day police station. So why don't you walk with me and we'll show you around a little bit. So this, of course, is the office, is my office, the chief's office. And as we exit, we're going to go right into an immediate entry area from the lobby. I'm going to open this door right here. This is our only lobby area. As we can see, it's rather small. We don't have a lot of room for folks to come in here and talk with us and do their business. We have an interview room that we would talk with folks who came in who may have some issues they want to talk to a detective about, so we have a very small interview room. But as far as a lobby area, you can see for a modern day police department of a city, probably well over 30,000 residents, that it is pretty small and doesn't really accommodate much of what we need. This would be the immediate help desk or window that folks would come to. We usually have someone stationed out here that would meet folks when they come up to the window. Again, a pretty small space. You can get pretty busy. Not a lot of room to maneuver or to add staff. If you come around the corner here, this is our dispatch area. Now, the Bella Vista Police Department, we have a modern dispatch center. They dispatch for fire, EMS, and police patrol. And so they're doing multiple functions. We have 2 dispatchers on staff, usually 24/7, 365. And as you can see, there's really no room within this area for growth. We, at this time, currently need to put up a 3rd station, and we don't have room to do that. So if you come back out to this lobby area here, we're going to end up putting our next 3rd station right here. Which really doesn't give a lot of privacy and security for what they need. So we really need more of a modern day dispatch center with room for growth and room for more dispatch. We have some coming down the hallway here, these file cabinets. This is our records department. So really we need a separate room for our records, but really we don't have it. So in the hallway we just stack these file cabinets, which obviously most people would understand is not the best way to do business as far as a records department. This is one of the offices of the administrative assistant. It's a decent sized office, so that's really not an issue or problem there. Moving forward here, if you pan the camera to your left there, this area here, it's sort of an improvised office. As you can see, it was once just a way to get out of the building. A storage closet area. We've really turned into an office and put 2 people in there, which, as you can see, is, we make good use of space. But in there will be my office space for both my dispatch manager and my dispatch trainer. Another entrance area into the dispatch center. Again, the way the dispatch center is laid out to be on the 1st floor here, within just the common flow of people is not an ideal location. They really need to be more in the basement and a secure location.
How many calls per month
does
dispatch deal with?
Great question. We take approximately 21 or 22,000 calls for service a year. So you can divide that up into a monthly call, and that's quite a few calls. So that's over 20,000 calls for service a year that we'll take into the police department. This office is an office for one of my lieutenants that runs my administrative division. Pretty small office. Not a lot of room for a command level individual to be able to have meetings, to be able to have staff meetings. So really an inadequate office if you think about somebody who runs a division and needs to be able to meet with their staff. Moving along, a little kitchen facility here. which again is pretty small and inadequate for an operation that's 24/7, 365, with individuals always in the building needing obviously to have some place to eat their food. We have no break room, so really they have no place to go and take a break and have some lunch. As we move down the hallway here, this is what I'd call maybe just an administrative workstation, a copy machine, a little area for some paperwork. But again, you know, we're looking, it's in the natural flow of a hallway, so it's really not a good area for somebody to sit down and get some work done, to copy some things, to print some things, and to prepare documents. This right here, I'm going to crack this door open. This is our IT room. So this is the brains of the entire operation. Our IT folks have done a pretty good job making this work as best they can, but if you can just take a look, it is pretty crowded. It is pretty hot. We have a couple portable air conditioning units to keep it cooler in here. So really it's functional right now, but as far as the IT department for a modern day police facility, if anything in here was to go down or to overheat, the entire system and operation would cease to operate. And there's even some time in the summertime when it gets extremely hot that we have to crack this door open here to allow ventilation, because this room does overheat and the equipment will stop working. So a new public safety facility would have an IT center, an IT room that was actually designed for that from the beginning. This room was never designed to be an IT room, and so really it has inadequate ventilation, it has inadequate security. It's just something we make do with. This is our evidence room. A police department has to have certain evidence on hand within the walls of the police department for critical cases that are felony cases, sensitive cases. Certain evidence we have to maintain at the police facility. We can't put at an off storage site. I can't open this evidence room. I don't have access to it. I do that on purpose. Now I give myself access to it. But it's not a very large room. You can see about the length of this hallway from the captain's office to the end of the hall here, and about probably 10 feet deep. It's not a really large room. It gets full and we start running out of space pretty quickly. So we really need, in a new building, a modern day evidence section with better security, more space for growth. Because a lot of evidence for cases, you take that evidence in, you have to maintain it for decades. You can't just get rid of it. So it's evidence we have to keep for a long, long time. This is the only evidence processing area that we have on the department. What I mean by that is an officer will come in with some evidence. They will put it in here. They will lock this door. The evidence technician from the inside of the evidence room will gather it and will store it. This is the only workstation they have to process that evidence. Really inadequate if you think about some of the things they process that may have biohazards or have contaminants and things like that. It really needs to be in more of a secure room, a maintained room, and a controlled room, not some area where somebody can just walk by and touch things and become contaminated. If you turn around, this here is really our only processing room for somebody in custody. A prisoner processing room is what you can call it. And I jokingly tell people it's next to the mop bucket, which it legitimately is next to the mop bucket. So as you can see, this room here is where we bring somebody, for example, on a DWI investigation. Here's our intoxilizer. Here's our fingerprint machine where they would be fingerprinted. And again, we just have a chair against the wall. There's no place to properly secure somebody who we aren't going to put them in this facility as a jail facility, but we still need an area to maintain people, to secure them, and handcuffs to maybe secure them to a bench that's secured to the floor, so they just can't get up and run through the building and cause some sort of chaos. And so this is really very inadequate as far as a prisoner or suspect processing area. It needs to be, again, a building developed with that in mind. This was a closet that we did the best we could and made it an area we can process folks. Okay, moving along here. Just a restroom there for the men. And of course, these restrooms are not locker rooms. So come on out this door here. This is the first floor. So this was your first half of the building. Some lockers in the hallway are just what they are. They're officers' lockers because we don't have a locker room. So we'll put lockers throughout the hallway that they can at least store some things in. Okay, now we're on the second floor. As I mentioned, our first floor is administrative and dispatch. Our second floor is patrol and CID, or our detectives. If you look in this landing here, of course, again, lockers for officers because we don't have a locker room that they can actually put belongings in or store things in. If you think about an officer going on duty, going out, getting contaminated with blood or some other contaminants, sometimes they would need to come back to the station and shower, put some clean clothes on before they go home. They really can't do that here because we don't have a shower facility for them. This is the second floor here. I have this is my armor room where we keep some SWAT gear and some different things like that. It's really small. We need a more modern day armor where we can really store and secure.
And signal 6 charges relating to signal 6.
We need, like I was mentioning, we need armor, a room we can really secure a lot of our equipment that's more sensitive and needs to stay secured on a 24/7 basis. This here is our briefing, debriefing area. Not really large. If you think about it, at any one time we could have 10, 12 folks that are briefing and debriefing, or we can have briefings and debriefings taking place at the same time. And so this room is really sort of the catch-all room for us, and it's really inadequate for what we're trying to accomplish. Over here are some workstations for officers, 3 workstations where they can come and do some paperwork and catch up on some reports. I have 3 patrol sergeants, 3 patrol squads, and this is their office here. Again, really, as far as a sergeant's concerned who has 6 or 7 folks that work for him or her, they need more of a private space to be able to talk to folks, to counsel folks, and things of that nature. We just have them all stuffed into this one small office right here. And really no room for growth. If I need to add a patrol sergeant in the future, which I will need to do, there's really no room to grow in this building and to put anybody. This is my patrol lieutenant's office. This office is a fairly adequate size, but if I need to, in the future, split up my patrol division because it's getting rather large and put a second patrol lieutenant to share some of the responsibilities and duties, I really have no place to put that individual. This is my animal control officer. As you can see, we had no office space for her, and so we just put her in the corner here. So she does well. She likes it in the sense of she has a space to do some work, but really, you know, we need a space for her to have her own office to do the things she needs to do. Again, here's some of our files. We have no, like I mentioned, we have no records department, no place to put our files. We have to keep records, just like evidence. We have to keep records for years and years on end. So we put them where we can right now. We're moving to the CID, or the investigative division, where my detectives are. We have right now 3 detectives. We have 2 standard detectives and a narcotics detective that work most of the cases in Bella Vista. We added an administrative assistant latter part of last year. Didn't have an office for her. This used to be a briefing area or an investigative area for my detectives. We had a big briefing table here. We just had to put her office in the middle of that room. It works, but again, my detectives have no place to lay out a case they're working or to put out any sort of material they need to work on over a long period of time. This is my evidence technician. We went through the evidence room, or I showed you the evidence room earlier. My evidence technician who takes care of all of our evidence. This is his office upstairs. As you can see, it makes no sense. He's got an office upstairs. The evidence room is downstairs, but that's because there's no room within the evidence room to have him put his belongings in his workstation. This is my my CID lieutenant office, a decent sized office, but again, he has no space. If he was to bring his detectives in for a private meeting, there's not an additional meeting area or space in here you could do that. So not really, you can come on, not really of adequate size. Ceiling falling down. This here is my detective bullpen area. So I have 2 detectives working right now, but really not a lot of room for growth. If I need to add some folks in the future, you can see some of the building is already in pretty sorry shape as the ceiling has ceiling tiles have a pretty good hole in them. So I appreciate the time today to be able to show you around the Bella Vista Police Department. As you can see, it's pretty old, pretty inadequate for our current needs, and we're really hoping in the future to get to be able to secure a new building to move us into the future as far as modern day policing. Thank you.